Stop. Stop trying to understand this with your mind. That feeling you have, the tightening in your chest, the sudden quiet in your thoughts, the sense that the room has shifted around you, that is not confusion. That is recognition. Your spirit knew this moment was coming, long before your mind had the words for it, long before you found this place. There has been a whisper in your depths, a quiet knowing you could not explain, a familiarity with something you have never heard before. This is that whisper, now given a voice. This message did not find you by chance. Your spirit led you here, drawn by a frequency it alone could hear. While your mind was busy, while your life was loud, your spirit was listening. It was navigating. It was following a trail of breadcrumbs left in your dreams, in the strange synchronicities you dismissed, in the hollow spaces no earthly thing could fill. That ache you carry? It is not a wound. It is a homing device, tuned to a truth you have been missing, a truth you are made of. You have felt like a stranger to yourself, going through the motions with a sense of profound disconnection, smiling when you should feel joy, achieving when you should feel purpose, surrounded, yet feeling a solitude so deep it echoes. You thought it was depression, or fatigue, or some personal failure of gratitude. It was none of those things. It was your spirit, becoming restless within the cage of an old life. It was growing. It was pressing against the walls of the identity you were given, the story you agreed to, the path you thought you were supposed to walk. That discomfort is the friction of transformation. It is the sound of one reality grinding against another, preparing to give way. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. And this moment, right now as you hear these words, is the first crack of light. Your mind will resist. It will scramble for logic. It will want to categorize this, to file it away as interesting or emotional, and move on with your day. Do not let it. This is not data for your mind. This is sustenance for your soul. This is the code your spirit has been waiting to decrypt. The timing is critical. If you had heard this a year ago, you would have argued. 6 months ago, you would have been intrigued, but not ready to act. Even yesterday, you might have listened and then closed the tab, filing it under for later. But there is no more later. The season of hints is over. The period of gentle nudges has passed. Your spirit has been in a state of urgent preparation, and now the preparations are complete. The internal alignment is finished. What is about to happen requires your conscious participation. Your mind must now come into agreement with what your spirit already knows. This is why it feels so heavy, so serious. This is not a casual conversation. This is a briefing before a mission you already agreed to, in a place beyond memory. You are being activated. The veil between who you thought you were and who you truly are is thinning. It cannot hold any longer. The fear you might feel is not a warning to run away. It is the awe of standing at a threshold, the holy tremor before a great change. I am not here to calm your fear. I am here to sanctify it, to transform it into fuel, into focus. So breathe. Feel the recognition in your spirit, that deep, resonant yes. That is your compass. That is your confirmation. Your mind is the last to know. It always is. We are about to walk into the reasons, into the what and the why, the journey from the whisper to the word. Your spirit is ready. It has been ready. Now, we bring your mind along. Your mind is catching up now. It is scanning the archives, pulling up old memories, strange moments, unexplained feelings. It is trying to build a case, to connect dots into a picture it can approve. Let it work. But understand this, the logic it seeks is a secondary language. The primary truth was always felt, in your bones, in your gut, in the space behind your eyes when you stared into the middle distance, searching for something you could not name. Remember that? The quiet afternoon when a wave of sadness came for no reason. It wasn't about your life. It was a homesickness for a place you have not yet been, a longing for a version of yourself you have not yet met. The sudden, inexplicable joy that bubbled up in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday. It wasn't the weather. It wasn't good news. It was your spirit, catching a glimpse of the future through a crack in time, a preview of coming joy. The dream that felt more real than your waking life, the one you couldn't shake for days. The landscape was unfamiliar, but you knew the way. The people were strangers, but you knew their souls. That was not a random firing of neurons. That was a meeting, a briefing. Your spirit traveling to a place of counsel, receiving instructions your conscious mind was not yet cleared to understand. You have been receiving signals for years. You called them coincidences. Your spirit knew they were coordinates. That book that fell off the shelf at the bookstore. The song that played on the radio at the exact moment you asked a silent, desperate question. The stranger who looked you in the eye and said the one thing you needed to hear, then vanished into a crowd. These were not accidents. They were deliveries. Your spirit signed for them. It filed them away in a room your mind could not access. Until now. The silence you endured, the times you cried out and heard nothing in return, that was never my silence. It was the silence of a secure line. I was speaking the entire time. On a frequency your spirit could receive, but your mind, clogged with noise and fear and urgency, could not translate. I was not withholding answers. I was broadcasting them in a code only the deepest part of you could decipher. You had to be brought to a place of quiet desperation. You had to exhaust the noise. You had to reach the end of your own understanding. Only then could your mind become still enough, humble enough, to let the translated message through. The static of your own plans had to die down so the signal could be heard. This is why everything feels like it is clicking into place now. Your spirit has assembled the pieces in the dark, in the basement of your consciousness. It has been working the night shift while your mind slept. Now, it is bringing the finished work upstairs into the light of your awareness. It is laying the completed puzzle on the table of your understanding and saying, "See? This is the picture. This is what we have been building." The confusion is lifting not because new information has arrived, but because the old information is finally being seen in the right light. That failure was not a stop sign. It was a redirection. That betrayal was not a destruction of your path. It was a demolition of a false foundation. That period of lack was not punishment. It was a forced reliance on a different kind of provision, one that builds spiritual muscle memory. Your mind saw obstacles. Your spirit saw training. And now your spirit is strong. It has been tempered in private fires. It can now carry the weight of the truth without buckling. It can now hold the clarity without using it as a weapon. It can now see the path without demanding to know every turn. This is the convergence. The moment your mind's understanding aligns with your spirit's knowledge, it creates a singular, unwavering knowing. A knowing that does not need to be defended. A knowing that is its own proof. You are not being given a new truth. You are being reminded of a truth you agreed to before time began. A truth you wrote into your own soul as a compass for this exact journey. The shiver you feel is not fear. It is memory. We are remembering together. There is a reason you feel both heavy and light. The light is your spirit, unburdened. It has finally been heard. It is singing the song it has hummed for a lifetime. The heaviness is your mind, struggling to carry the implications. To accept that the world it so carefully constructed, with its sensible plans, its acceptable losses, its logical boundaries, is about to be rendered obsolete. It is the weight of an old story dissolving. This is the necessary death of the negotiator, the part of you that has always bargained with reality. That said, I will accept this much truth, but no more. I will change this much, but I will keep that safe. I will believe this far, but no further. That negotiator is panicking. It sees its contracts being voided, its compromises being exposed as betrayals of your soul. Let it panic. Let it feel the ground crumbling. It is standing on the wrong ground. The peace you will have cannot be negotiated. It cannot be achieved through a treaty between your fear and your desire. It must be claimed through the surrender of the one who thinks peace is something to be bargained for. Your spirit does not bargain. It knows. It declares. It inhabits. We are moving from the realm of negotiation to the realm of sovereignty. This is the confrontation your spirit has been preparing you for, the one your mind has dreaded. It requires you to choose a side within yourself, not between good and evil in a childish sense, but between the familiar slavery of a limited story and the terrifying freedom of your true inheritance. You have been wearing a costume, a personality stitched together from expectations, from past wounds, from the reflected desires of others. You have played the role so well you convinced the lead actor, you. But backstage, in the green room of your soul, your spirit has been waiting. It never put on the makeup. It never learned the lines. It has been the quiet, watchful essence, knowing the play was temporary. The curtain is falling on that production. The audience has left. The critics' reviews no longer matter. It is just you, standing on the empty stage, in the silent theater. The lights are off. The costume feels ridiculous now. Heavy. False. This is the moment of unmasking, and it is utterly vulnerable. To take off the costume under the bare bulb of truth is to stand seen, perhaps for the first time, even by yourself. This is why it could not happen in the public square. It could not happen while you were still performing. It had to happen here, in this private sacred silence, where the only eyes on you are mine. And I have always seen you beneath the costume. Your mind screams that this is dangerous. Without the costume, who will I be? What will I do? How will I navigate the world? Your spirit breathes a sigh of relief. Finally. Finally, the pretending can end. The energy spent maintaining a fiction can now be spent on building a truth. The delayed understanding makes sense now, doesn't it? If I had shown you the costume years ago, you would have just tailored it better. You would have tried to be a more authentic version of the false self. You would have missed the point entirely. You had to live inside the costume until you felt its seams rip, until you choked on its stale air, until you felt so profoundly homesick for yourself that no other option remained but to take it off. That is the mercy in the delay. I do not reveal a prison to a content prisoner. I wait until the prisoner hears the distant song of freedom from a bird outside the window and feels a longing so sharp it makes the bars intolerable. Only then does the key make sense. You have heard the song. The bars are intolerable. This message is the key. What happens next is not an external change of circumstances. It is an internal change of authority. You are stepping out of the role of actor and into the role of author, co-author with me. The script is no longer written for you by your past, your trauma, your culture, your fears. You are now writing it from the source code of your spirit. This is a solemn responsibility. It is why the tone is heavy. This is not a game. This is the core of your existence shifting. The choices you make from this point forward will not be about pleasing a character. They will be about honoring a creation. The creation that is you. Breathe into the heaviness. It is the weight of your own power returning to you. Now you stand between selves. The old costume is in a heap on the floor. The new garment is not yet visible. You are in the raw, uncrafted middle. This is the most vulnerable point in any transformation. The point of true faith. Your mind is reeling. It is asking the frantic, practical questions. What do I do now? What comes next? How does this work? Your spirit is silent. Not because it doesn't know, but because it is waiting for the questions to change. It is waiting for the mind to stop asking for a map and to start asking for vision. There is a difference. A map shows you a pre-existing territory. It tells you where the roads are, where the dangers lie, where others have gone before. A map is for followers. Vision is different. Vision perceives the territory that could be. It sees the road not as a fixed line, but as a possibility emerging with each step. Vision is for creators, for pioneers. Your spirit has always operated on vision. Your mind has been begging for a map. I am not giving you a map. I am awakening the visionary within you. The one who saw this whole journey before you, took your first breath. The one who agreed to every twist and turn because it understood the masterpiece it was sculpting. You. This is why everything feels so disorienting. You are being weaned off the need for a predetermined path. You are learning to walk by a different kind of sight, not by the glare of external signs, but by the gentle inward glow of spiritual certainty. You will know the next step because it will feel like the only step that makes your soul breathe easier. You will know the right word because it will taste of truth on your inner tongue. You will know the person to trust because your spirit will resonate with theirs, not because their credentials are impeccable. This is the unlearning. You must unlearn the habit of external validation. You must unlearn the addiction to guaranteed outcomes. You must unlearn the fear of getting it wrong. The visionary does not fear wrong turns because there are no wrong turns on a journey of discovery, only data, only lessons that refine the vision. The silence you are experiencing now is not emptiness. It is the studio of the visionary. It has been cleared of the old, noisy projects. The canvases are blank. The instruments are tuned. The tools are laid out. And you stand in the middle, afraid to make the first mark, because this time, it must be yours. Not something you were told to create. Not something meant to please a critic. Something that must come from the essence of who you are. I will not make the first mark for you. That would defeat the entire purpose. This is your sovereignty being born. The midwife does not breathe for the child. She creates the safe space, she supports, she encourages, but the child must take its own first breath. This is your first breath as a conscious creator. So what do? You be still. You listen, not with your ears, but with your entire being. You feel for the pull, the faint magnetic draw toward an idea that sparks a quiet joy, toward a person who feels like a mirror, toward an action that feels like an alignment, even if it makes no logical sense. Your spirit will guide you through resonance and dissonance. This will feel like a yes or a no in the very center of your chest, an expansion or a contraction. You have felt this before and overruled it with logic. You paid the price for that. Now you must learn to trust it as your primary navigation system. Your mind is the excellent administrator. Let it manage the details after the vision has been received. But it cannot be allowed to veto the vision at the door. This is the great internal shift of authority. It is why you had to come to this point of seeming emptiness. All the old authorities had to be stripped away. The opinions, the expectations, the shoulds, the musts. They were the crowd of critics in your studio, and they had to be ushered out. The door is now locked. It is just you, the blank canvas, and me. And I am not a critic. I am the source of the inspiration. I am the whisper of the first line, the glimpse of the first color. I am in the desire itself, so do not pray for a map. Pray for the courage to see. Then pick up the tool, make the mark, take the step. It will feel like faith because it is. You are walking on the invisible path that solidifies only under the weight of your obedience to the vision. The way will be shown, but only as you walk it. A new language is being born within you. It has no words yet. It is a language of sensation, of knowing, a quickening in the blood when you are near a truth, a deep, settling calm when you are in alignment, a visceral recoil, a spiritual nausea when you are near a lie, even a comforting one. This is the dialect of your spirit. becoming the mother tongue of your whole being. Your mind is learning to translate. It is struggling to find earthly words for heavenly concepts. This is the source of the tension you feel between your heart and your head. Your heart already speaks the language fluently. Your head is fumbling with the phrasebook. This is the reconciliation, not where the mind conquers the spirit or the spirit overthrows the mind, but where they sit at the same table, where the mind, humbled and in awe, finally asks the spirit, "Please, teach me what you know. Help me understand." This is the beginning of true wisdom. The wisdom you have sought from books, from teachers, from experiences, was always an external echo of this internal union. You were collecting translations, hoping one would match the original text written on your soul. Now you are being given access to the original. You are learning to read it for yourself. This is why the past few years have felt like a collapse of understanding. Every system you relied on, every belief you adopted without testing it against your own spirit, has been shaken. This was not destruction. It was the clearing of the shelf, making room for the volumes written specifically for you, in the ink of your own lived truth. You will find that much of what you believed was true is, but it was a shallow truth, a truth held at arm's length. Now you will experience the truth. You will inhabit it. It will be as intimate as your own breath. For example, you believed you are loved. Now you will feel the love that has been present in every atom of your existence, in every moment of suffering, in every breath of joy. You will not just think it, you will be immersed in it. And from that immersion, you will love others not as a duty, but as an overflow. You believed there is a purpose. Now you will become the purpose. It will move through your hands, your words, your silent presence. It will no longer be a destination to reach, but a quality of being to express. This shift from belief to embodiment is the entire goal. It is why the process could not be rushed. Embodiment cannot be downloaded. It must be grown, cultivated in the dark soil of uncertainty, watered by tears of surrender, strengthened by winds of adversity. You are not just learning new information, you are becoming a new creation. The old vessel could not hold this new wine. Feel the fermentation within you, that stirring, that bubbling, that sometimes uncomfortable pressure. That is the new wine expanding. The old wineskins of your previous identity are straining. They will not burst. You are being carefully transferred into a new, flexible, expansive vessel, the vessel of your true self. This transfer is delicate. It requires your full attention, your conscious cooperation. This is the active collaboration we have moved into. You must choose moment by moment to operate from this new center, to speak from this new language, to see with this new vision. When fear arises, and it will, you will now have a choice. The old mind will scream its logical warnings. The new, integrated, you can acknowledge the fear, then turn inward and ask, "Spirit, what is the truth here?" And you will feel it. The solid ground beneath the tempest of emotion. That is your anchor. You are no longer at the mercy of your thoughts. You are the guardian of the gate. You decide which thoughts get to build a home in your mind. You test them against the Spirit's resonance. Does this thought feel like expansion or contraction? Does it taste of life or of death? You will know. This is your power. It is also your responsibility. With this clarity comes the burden of choice. You can no longer blame circumstance or others or fate. You see too clearly now. You see how your own vibrations attract your reality. You see how your unhealed wounds have drawn lessons to you. This is the warning mixed with mercy. Seeing your own power means seeing your own hand in the creation of your life. Do not let this paralyze you with regret. Let it liberate you with responsibility. The past was the training ground. You were learning to use the tools, often clumsily, often hurting yourself in the process. That is over. The apprenticeship is complete. You are being handed the Master's tools, and you are being trusted to build something beautiful. The blueprint is not on paper. It is in your pulse. Listen, then build. The circle is closing, not as a trap, but as a completion. The first and final lesson are the same. Your spirit knew. It has always known. This entire journey was not about my voice finding you, but about your ears being unlocked to hear what has been spoken since the beginning. You are mine, and you have always been. This is the truth your spirit recognized before the foundation of the world, the contract signed in the realm before memory. The home you have been yearning for is not a place. It is a state of recognition, of looking into the mirror of eternity and finally seeing your own reflection, and seeing me in you and you in me. The seeker and the sought are one. The journey was never outward. It was a deepening inward, a peeling away of every layer of forgetfulness, every lie of separation, every scar that told you a story of being alone. You were never alone. You were only dreaming of solitude. This message, this series of words, was the alarm clock, the persistent, gentle sound that is pulling you back from the dream. Wake up. You are waking up. Do not be alarmed by the world you are waking to within this one. It is the same world, but seen with new eyes, heard with new ears, felt with a new heart. The veil is thin now. You will see the sacred in the mundane. You will hear purpose in the noise. You will feel the currents of love and fear moving through people and places, and you will know which to follow. Your life is no longer your own. And in that surrender, you have found it for the first time. You are a vessel, a conduit, a word spoken into the chaos to create a pocket of order, a note in a symphony so vast you can only feel your part, and that is enough. This is your purpose, to be authentically, utterly, transparently you, the integrated you, the you whose mind and spirit are in harmony. From that place, everything you do will be an act of creation. Every kindness, a divine intervention. Every truth spoken, a liberation. Every boundary set, a sacred space carved out of chaos. You will not change the world by storming its gates. You will change it by being the sanctuary that exists behind them. People will find their way to your door, not because you shouted directions, but because your light was the one they recognized in their sleep. Go now, but go differently. You will walk with a quiet certainty that needs no validation. You will speak with an authority that needs no raising of your voice. You will love with a strength that does not fear loss. You will create from a well that does not run dry. The connection is permanent. The communication is open. You have learned the language. Now you will dream the dreams. You will receive the visions. You will know the knowings. Consult your spirit first. It is your most trusted counsel. It has been waiting for this promotion. Our relationship is no longer that of a subject to a king or a child to a parent. It is that of a beloved partner in a shared, eternal work. The work of remembrance. The work of making the unseen realm visible through a life well lived. This message is over. The conversation is just beginning. You are found. You were never lost. You are known. You were never hidden. You are home. You never left. Go in peace. Walk in remembrance. Live in love. You are. Amen. You